Hello, everybody. How are you? Back with another consumer video. We're focused on Savannah. This is going to be the 5 worst hardware stores in Savannah. And Savannah's a growing community. You got a lot of people renovating, building new homes, adding on. So it's important to find a good hardware store. And this would encompass 5 of the worst. Now, this is my opinion. You might think differently. Wait till the end. I'll give you some ideas on how to help everyone. The first one on our list, guys, is Pirouette. Now, Pirouette Hardware has an interesting approach because, like I say, all good businesses have a interesting angle, a marketing idea, a way to differentiate themselves. But to ask your customers to pirouette into the hardware store before they'll even serve you is a little much, in my opinion. It makes it a little awkward. And it's not so much that I'm opposed to doing a pirouette to go over into the entrance. They won't let you through the door unless you pirouette into the store. It's not so much that I'm worried about my, manliness and all that. I'm just not good at pirouetting. And the one time I tried it, guys, you're supposed to go up on a toe. A pirouette is a ballet move, if you don't know. So you go up on your toe. Well, guys, my toes are all smashed up from playing hockey all those years. So when I went up on my toe, they immediately buckled, and but I was into the pirouette spin. Then my toes buckle. If you can picture this, I go flying into a display of drills on sale at the hardware store, guys. And it took them 5 minutes to pick all the drills off of my body so they could remove me from the area. And then they just asked me to leave because they said, 1, you can't pirouette, and 2, you ruined our display of drills, which took Hank over here 14 hours to put together. So I'm going to have to say no to that particular hardware store. Now, the number 2 worst hardware store in Savannah is going to be the self-help hardware store. I kind of like going to the self-help checkout when I go to the grocery store, for example, because a lot of times when you go through the regular checkout, you have to snake through this hallway of impulse items that they think you'll react to and respond to and pick up on your way out. But the problem with these hallways, these aisles that you have to snake through to get to the checkout area where you have employees checking you out, is that this gets longer and longer. I mean, now you have full cases of like beef jerky and energy drinks and milk and water and all kinds of, and then all these little electronics like cables and earbuds. And it took me, the last time I went through that little aisle to the checkouts was about, I don't know, like an hour. And I didn't buy anything. I was just weaving around the people that were stopped clogging the artery as they looked at earbuds. So I prefer the self-checkout. But then the problem with the self-checkout hardware store is that you can't leave an aisle unless you pay for it. In other words, there's self-checkouts at the end of every aisle of the store. Well, guys, sometimes when I go in the hardware store, I'm buying 17 different items. So I have to check out by myself 17 different times. And the reason they do that, guys, is to cut down on theft. They figure if you check it out at the end of the aisle, then they can monitor you more closely and keep you from sticking light bulbs down your pants. So to me, it's too much trouble. I'm going to have to say no to that operation. Now, the next one on our list is Excited Hardware. Excited Hardware is interesting because unlike some of the services you might find in today's modern retail environment, they're actually excited. You walk in, they're like, "Hey, how you doing, Joe?" They will remember your name, which is amazing. I think they do it. But somehow, I believe what they're doing is when you go there one time, they're actually, when you pull that gun to price the item, they're also shooting a beam into your skin. They're chipping you. I believe they're chipping you so that when you come back, it throws your name up on their computer screens and they know who you are. So you might want to check if there's a chip. It's usually in the back of your hand. Just rub your hand, and if you feel so like a little bump there, it might be a chip that they shot into your hand with that pricing gun. So, hey, Joe, how you doing? They're all excited. But the thing about it, guys, it gets pretty old. Have you ever been on a road trip with somebody that was so enthusiastic that you wanted to kill them after 1 hour on the road? Well, that's kind of the way it feels sometimes at this place, because it just can't be natural. They have to be on way too high of a sugar diet to be that excited. It can't be healthy. I don't want to contribute to somebody's health problems because they're shooting sugar up their nose. All right. And so for that reason, I'm going to have to say no to Excited Hardware. Now, the next one on our list is Cocoon. Cocoon Hardware, they model themselves after a movie called Cocoon, which deals with elderly. So they're targeting an elderly population. And I'm in this population. I'm elderly. So I appreciate having things that help me shop for my hardware items. For example, large print. I'm blind. I can't see a thing. For example, things are easy to reach. There are not a lot of things I have to bend down to get. I can see things clearly. There's a lot of help, okay? Because you get to a certain age, you just become dumber, right? I'm like, hey, man, do you guys sell duct tape? I know it's in the store somewhere. They're like, sir, you were here the last 4 weeks asking the same thing. I go, I know, but I'm elderly. And he's like, okay. See, they have no problem helping you with that. The only problem I have, and with Cocoon Hardware is that what they'll do is they'll overemphasize especially some of the younger people, like 18, 19, 20, they overemphasize dealing with the elderly, meaning they talk real loud. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for coming in. I go, okay, appreciate it. I can hear you. I said, thanks for coming in. I said, thank you. I appreciate the service. I can hear you. I'm right here. They're like I'm 3 feet away. And this 19-year-old is going, thanks for coming in, sir. I'm like, not only can I hear you, I can read lips. You don't have to yell. So sometimes they overdo it. So therefore, I'm going to have to put them on my no list. Now, finally, it's Ringmaster Hardware. They're going to be on the south side, guys, as you head down toward Florida. And the problem with Ringmaster is that they treat it like a circus. And for me, I just want to get in and out. I'm not like a shopper guy, right? I don't like to hang around. But a lot of times they'll make you sit in these seats. They've got these 3 rings set up inside the hardware store. It's a pretty large place. And they've got these little cars running around with clowns in them. They've turned a hardware store into a circus, basically. And the whole idea is that you can't purchase anything until they bring it out to one of the rings. And either they put a lion on top of it. Like, let's say you're buying a cabinet, or maybe you're buying a washer and dryer, or maybe you're buying a shelving unit. They'll bring it out to the center of the ring. Could be any of the 3 rings, and they'll get a lion to sit on it, and they'll ask you to go ahead and open the drawers of the cabinet to test it, to open and close the doors of the washer and dryer to make sure they work for you while the lion is sitting on top. Now, they have a guy standing there, and he's ready to jump in in case the lion, for example, were to stick your head in its mouth. And that guy, here's what I found out, though. He's not there to dissuade the lion. He's there to make sure that the lion doesn't scratch the washer and dryer. Because if the washer and dryer or the shelving unit or whatever the item is got scratched, they're going to try to charge you. And they won't even discount it as a demo unit. So, guys, there's a lot of spine print in the way that they're operating over there at Ringmaster. So because of that, Ringmaster Hardware on the south side of Savannah that's a no-go for me. Guys, that's all I have for this consumer video. If you know some other bad hardware stores, let us know in the comments. Or even better, if you know good ones, share it in the comments. Because when you do, you lift the entire Savannah community. And that's what we all are trying to do living in this great town. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Thank you.